you want healthier personal finances? Guess what? It's not all about investing. We're going to touch on investing, but it's not all about investing. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 steps to better personal finances. A lot of people don't realize that there's a lot more that goes into healthy personal finances than just investing in the markets. I know that that's the sexy part of finance, but there's definitely way more to it. And the first foundational step to having healthier personal finances is going to be to have an emergency fund and work on paying down your high interest debts. I know you've probably heard this many times over, but it's really the foundational factor to move up. Think about personal finances as a pyramid, okay? And you really want to have that first foundation set before you move on to other things. I've done videos about high interest debts before, so I will link to those so you can get a feel for how this really affects your personal finances. And that's why it's so important to actually get those high interest debts paid down first, because the interest compounds against you. And what we want is we want interest compounding for us so that we can actually build wealth. Now, can you pay down high interest debts and save an emergency fund at the same time? You can. It really depends on your situation. You have to look at everything. You have to look at the numbers, look at how much income you have coming in that you can contribute to both, and make a decision. But it is possible. Step 2 to healthier personal finances is to get a passive investing portfolio started. And the reason that I say this, passive investing is investing where you invest in funds and you really don't do a lot. You put your money in and you set it and forget it, and in retirement you can pull your money out for your needs. But passive investing is good because you're usually very diversified in a passive investing portfolio, and you really want that to be the core of your investing strategy. And then we can move on to step 3, which is taking it a step further. But for right now, you want a lower risk part of your portfolio working for you that you really don't have to worry about. You really don't have to worry about losing it necessarily with speculative stock picks, because you're usually invested in a broad index fund. And over time, if you hold that and you reinvest the dividends, that tends to turn out, or historically, it's turned out pretty well for people. I see a lot of people go straight for the speculative investing and, trying to trade and day trade and do higher risk activities to earn money. And I understand why people try to do that, because they want to get rich quick. But really, if you want healthy personal finances, focus on that passive investing portfolio, get that working for you, that it's in the background, you're not going to mess with it, you're going to continue to add to it. And then we move to step 3, which is getting more strategic with your investing and maybe throwing in some active investing if you wanted to, but you don't do that until you've got your passive investing strategy down. And then obviously before that, you've got your nice foundation of your savings and your high debts paid down. So when I talk about active investing, I'm talking about people that are trying to pick stocks in the market. I do this. I'm not against it like many people are. I actually do both. I follow what I say. I've got a passive investing strategy over here, and then over here, I've got some active investing that I do, but I'm researching. I'm not just throwing money into stocks. I'm actually doing real research. So I consider this like a barbell strategy. On one side, you've got your safer passive investing portfolio. On the other side, you've got how much you can afford, to be actively investing and taking on more risk. So over here, passive, lower risk. Over here, it's more active, it's higher risk, but higher potential return. But it's all about making sure that the amount of money you're putting into both is balanced out for your risk tolerance and your needs. And the other side of that is getting tactical in step 3 with your investing strategy by looking at more than just S&P 500 index funds. There are so many other ways you can invest. You can invest in emerging markets. You can invest in international developed markets. You can invest in bonds, you can invest in gold, you can invest in cryptocurrencies. Like, there are many different ways to construct a portfolio. And in step 3, you can kind of look at getting a little bit more strategic if you want to. But you need to learn how to do it the right way. Step 4, have the right insurance in place for better personal finances. Not everybody needs insurance. And when I'm talking about insurance, there's health insurance, there's life insurance, there's homeowners insurance, there's vehicle insurance. There's a lot of different types of insurance. And you want to make sure that your insurance has all of the right deductibles, all of the right coverage, because you don't want to be in a situation where something happens to you and all this hard work you've done with building your investment portfolio, with building your emergency savings and paying down debts, you don't want all that to be blown up by some type of unforeseeable event. When I'm talking about insurance, I really want to touch on life insurance because everyone kind of knows get health insurance, get car insurance. That's pretty common knowledge. But life insurance, a lot of people think they need it, but they may not actually need it. Here's how you know if you need it. If you have somebody in your life that depends on you, that if something happened to you, you would be concerned for their well-being, you may want to consider life insurance. Pretty simple. The fifth step to better personal finances is having an estate plan. You've worked so freaking hard for everything you've done, everything in your pyramid, right? From the bottom to the top. You want to make sure that if something happens to you, your assets not only get passed to the people you want them to get passed to, you want to try to avoid probate if you have a desire to avoid probate, which is a long, expensive process of having your assets distributed by the courts. If you want to avoid that and you want to avoid your will becoming public record, then you may want to consider an estate plan that really helps you completely avoid probate. The other thing to consider is if you have children or people that are dependent on you, you want to make sure that the right guardians are set for those children. Again, you don't necessarily want the courts choosing who's going to raise your kids. So an estate plan is not just for rich people. It's really not. It's for people that care about how their assets get passed down, how their children are taken care of after they pass, and a lot more. So it's definitely more than just money. Even healthcare, you're gonna have a healthcare directive. So if anything happens to you and you become incapacitated, you wanna make sure that the right person is handling your affairs. So I'm gonna say this again. Estate plans are not just for rich people. So as you can see, there's a lot more to personal finances that are healthy and strong than just investing. There's more to it that you need to consider. And those are the 5 things. And to recap the 5 things, number 1, pay down your high interest debts and get that emergency savings going. Number 2, focus on a safer, passive investing long-term portfolio that you don't have to really mess with. Step 3, then once that's set, if you are looking to be more tactical or more active in your investing or more speculative, then you move to that in step 3 if necessary, but only with the amount of money that you're comfortable with. 4, make sure that you have the right insurance in place so that your whole financial plan doesn't blow up in your face. And 5, get an estate plan. You want to make sure that your loved ones are taken care of and your assets pass the way you want them to. That's it, finance fam. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, and you found it helpful, please hit that like button for me, and I'll see you next time.